Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I'm playing Legacy, and I'm doing something I'm pretty excited about. This is Teferi Vacation, revisiting one of the original BoshNRoll bangers. I released my first version of Teferi Vacation in 2020, in the very early days of this channel, and really trying to move my Twitch stream over to YouTube and trying to build something, which now I'm many years into being my full-time job. David reached out and wanted to see some of the new NickFit tech. The Witherbloom command is a big deal. We had Lively Dirge show up as a cool piece. Erode is here. David saw my Yorion NickFit crazy multi-toolbox deck from a few weeks ago on the channel and wanted to apply some of that to the Teferi Vacation shell, which, if you haven't seen before, I will explain, don't worry. And this lined up perfectly with my 1000th legacy video on this channel. According to my playlist, assuming I have tagged all of my videos correctly over the year, this is my 1000th legacy video posted to YouTube. Pretty cool milestone. And it was a perfect confluence of David asked me to do this. I was looking for something cool to do for my 1000th video, and let's shout out one of my first videos. What this deck is trying to do, the card Lethal Vapors. 2 and a black enchantment. Whenever a creature enters, destroy it. And for 0, any player may destroy this enchantment and skip their next turn. The joke here, or what we're trying to do, is get Lethal Vapors into play and then act its ability. I might have just had a stroke while I was speaking. Activate its ability hundreds of times, holding priority, and then when they all resolve, cast Teferi's Protection, which reads, until your next turn, your life total can't change and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Until your next turn, if that is hundreds of turns from now, and your opponent can't touch you in the meantime, they will die. They will draw all the cards in their deck, and they can't touch you, and you win. That's the combo. Concerns about this combo include skipping my next 100 turns, and then Teferi's Protection doesn't resolve, which is why the deck has Voice of Victory, a new card in it, relatively new, certainly compared to the last times I did this, Cabal Therapy, and Thoughtseize. We got a bunch of ways to clear the runway to do our thing, make sure Teferi's Protection resolves. Other concerns are the cards Thassa's Oracle and Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. Teferi's Protection says nothing about winning or losing. It just says your life total can't change and you have protection from everything. If your opponent wins the game, then you are not protected by Teferi. Thassa's Oracle is a card that can beat you even if you combo off. And Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, that card, if it ends up in your graveyard, shuffles your whole graveyard back into your deck, which means over the course of all of the skipped turns while I'm on vacation, my opponent can just draw their deck as many times as they please, and at some point just keep 8 cards in their hand, go to discard Emrakul, it shuffles in with everything else, and they can't actually deck, and by the time I come back from vacation, they will have all of their deck in play and a perfect 7-card hand with which to defeat me. And what that means is we just have to sideboard the combo out if my opponent has Emrakul, which unfortunately includes the Tron deck. That is one of the most popular decks in the format right now. Though I have given another out. Rather than playing any other graveyard hate, I have Fairy Macabre, which your hand doesn't phase out, and your life total can't change, which means you can't pay for Surgical Extraction. However, Fairy Macabre, if this is in my hand while I'm on vacation and my opponent discards Emrakul, I can exile it, and then they will eventually run out of cards. I've chosen to play this over other graveyard hate options because, as I just described, Surgical doesn't work when you're on vacation. Leyline of the Void would be phased out with all your other permanents if you go on vacation. I don't think this is the best graveyard hate card, but it might be the best one for what we're doing. And the alternative, of course, is we can just board out most or all of the combo and bring in Damping Spheres, Disruptor Flutes, and ways to just kind of play normal. And in addition to all this weird stuff that's going on, Academy Reactor can get Lethal Vapors. It can also get Overwhelming Splendor or Sandworm Convergence, and just do that instead. We got a bunch of new cards in here that have upgraded the Nick Fit shell since the last time I did this. Cavern of Souls. All of my creatures are humans. Let's do that, except Barrogoyf in the sideboard, but we can name Lorgoyf if we need to. Lazatep Quarry. This is kind of new tech. I used to have just Phyrexian Tower to do kind of the same thing, but this does more. Let's try it out. The 1000th video, harkening back to one of the first videos. This is Teferi Vacation in 2026. I am on the draw in round 1. I do like Thoughtseize and Witherbloom Charm as just magic cards, but I don't like that I'm not really doing anything else here. I will mulligan this. Right, I'll keep this because I don't want to chase 5 to the bottom here. I like the charm. I do have a Surveil land in the deck. If I find a Veteran Explorer, we're cooking. Ball Therapy. Okay. I don't know enough about my opponent's deck to fire off this Cabal Therapy yet. I see Flooded Strand. Normally the play pattern is you Cabal Therapy, naming Force of Will on turn 1, then turn 2 you play Explorer and immediately flash back, knowing that you're not going to get Force of Willed. But I don't have that card right now. We got a little more work to do. Swamp, I don't need that. Erode. That one's not immediately useful. I'm going to play Forest and pass. Witherbloom Charm is online now. I could kill Ophelia if that had jumped in the end step or something like that. Looks like we're against some kind of control deck. Phyrexian Tower. I'm not ready to tell that story yet. I could just cast Lethal Vapors this turn. Okay, I have access to white mana now. But what I can do is set up a next turn Therapy U and immediately play and sack Rector. Tameo. A creature. How strange. I didn't know those were allowed. Okay, Cabal Therapy, target you, name Force of Will. Something's happening. Minor Misstep, Grody. Okay. I guess I commit to the send here. Fetch for Savannah and play Rector. And let's get this Force of Will out of their hand one way or another. Wow, it worked. Okay. Therapy you. Rector triggers. I would like to use the ability. Do I want Splendor or Convergence here? Though Tameo can't attack me. And what would I even name? It's not Force of Will. All right, I'm going to get Convergence. And do I name Brainstorm? They would have cast Brainstorm earlier, right? I don't think they have Force of Negation either. Is there a white card that could remove this? Would they have played Teferi Time Raveler? I'm just going to name that one. Oh, wow. Why didn't they force my Rector? That's so strange. Okay. Well, you got me, or something. I need my opponent to not draw a red mana right now, actually. Wait, what just happened? I think... Oh no, I think Magic Online is having problems. Okay, well, my opponent confirmed that the game just reset. I guess I will try to keep playing, and we'll see what happens. Well, now my opponent knows they should Force of Will Academy Rector. Alright, weird. If that crashes again, I'll just stop playing for now and figure it out later. Ooh, that's a good one, though. Okay, Cabal Therapy, target you. It's crazy that Minor messed up his card in their deck. Force of Will. Nothing there. Veteran Explorer. I might Brainstorm in response, because I am about to Therapy 2 Ponders out of this hand. Okay, Brainstorm, and I now no longer have information. I am recording this like right after a Magic Online downtime, which is always the most dangerous time to do anything on this platform, which is generally pretty stable. However, I got work to do. I don't know what to tell you. Plains and Swamp to the battlefield. And my opponent's a deck chock full of basics too, which is risky to do this with. I guess I'm going to name Ponder. I doubt there's more than one mountain in the deck, which means at least one Ponder is still in the sand. Yeah, there's 2 there. A 4th Aerolingus is trouble, though. That's an annoying card to find. Okay, 4th Aerolingus is going to have to be overcome by what? And if they do it for 1 instead of 2, a removal spell, does what I need here. I don't know why you would do that, though. Oh, thank merciful Poseidon. Okay. I'm gonna have to erode this because I am not prepared for the initiative or the monarch to be part of this game as I continue to ramp my control opponent. A Rector. There's a prismatic ending right there. They don't have 4 colors in their deck. Swords to Plowshares is in the deck, but I think having this thing in play when I'm confident it will resolve is a reasonable take. Vista, Damio. My deck doesn't play any brainstorm effects. Just going to fetch Assassin's Trophy. That does not kill anything because my opponent has Spell Snare in their hand. And I can't target my own thing. It's only opposing things. I am going to try to blow up the Tameo, though. Like, I know they have Spell Snare, but this card will be a problem. Okay, that happens. That clears the way for Witherbloom Command. Cracking their clue immediately. Tundra. I'll fetch a Forest. I said command, I meant charm. Attack with Rector. Unfortunately, the thing I want is in play or is in my hand. Right, sacrifice a permanent if you do draw 2 cards. They can kill Rector in response. The sacrifice is not part of the cost here. Brutal. All right. All right. Fended me off. Tamio going in. Drawing a card immediately. Another land. Oh, is this a Murktide? Sure is. Okay. Well, you can't block, so I will attack. And I don't think I'm going to crack this land because drawing my 8th land is actually good. Well, land is good. A sacrifice outlet is fine, I guess. Though Overwhelming Splendor does not line up well versus Murktide. Oh no, the Swords to Plowshares. They tapped white, then untapped it. Deciding what the timing's supposed to be on this. I draw for turn. Veteran Explorer. You stink. Oh, I am functionally at 1, which means I can't fetch anymore either. Explorer. Yeah, the big problem with this game is Sandworm Convergence was in my hand, which meant that, like, if I could have put Convergence into play off of Rector Trigger, then I would have let this 4th Aerolingus hit me, but that was not an option given what I had. I would have definitely just died to that Monarchy. More things are happening. This is a 2nd Lingus. Okay. You got me. Let's see if this game actually ends or if it resets again. Okay, cool. Okay, opponent did not see any of my super weird stuff. We got carpets and trophies here. Explorer is kind of risky because my opponent has so much mana. I like Pernicious Deed, I like Dirge, I love Voice of Victory. Maybe I don't need all these trophies, whatever. I'll just try to send my combo. All right, where do I get these carpets from? 0 trophies. Game on. I think I have these Cabal Therapies and Witherbloom Charms. I have a lot of things that want Explorer to be exploring. Maybe it's in a road. All right, interaction out. Focus on the send. Like Voice of Victory. I will keep. Opponent mulled to 6. Opponent has Spell Snare and Minor Misstep. There's a lot of good conditional counterspells over there. I don't want this erode. Well, I've got my whole combo, if I'm allowed to execute it. Scrubland, Voice of Victory. Please don't have Spell Snare. Man is being activated. Okay, Plains. That one doesn't matter. Okay. My voice might just die in their turn, but at least I didn't get Spell Snared. Cycling Lorien revealed. That's just about the only thing you could do with 1 mana here. Basic Island. Ponder. All right, please don't have Plow. Please don't have Plow. Didn't shuffle, but also doesn't have Plow. I like all that. Attack for 3. And I'm going to take this opportunity to resolve Lethal Vapors. Bang, we're in. All right, just let me untap. Back to Basics is also really bad for me. Prismatic ending on that. Oh no. Now Force is online. That's so dangerous. He didn't shuffle the Ponder. Oh. Well, hello there, madam. This is definitely Force of Will fodder. Play Rector, who will die on entry, because that's what Lethal Vapors does. Dang. Killed it. I would like to use the ability. And I guess oh, Sandworm Convergence doesn't work either. I will Splendor my opponent. Okay. Not forcing that's really interesting. I might just have to believe. Though the problem is testing with Force of Will is one thing, and skipping my next 100 turns and then having Teferi's protection countered is an instant death. And my opponent can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. That's cracking Tameo clues, that's fetch lands. There's a lot of things that covers. They also can't activate lethal vapors now, which means they can't try to combo off in response to me comboing off. Veteran Explorer. Do I even want this? What's the play? I play Veteran Explorer and then I sack it in response to lethal vapors trigger. Is that how we do this? I guess. Okay. Veteran Explorer, vapors trigger in response, green, black. You may sacrifice a permanent. If you do, draw 2 cards. I'd like to sacrifice this permanent. Sack Explorer. I drew a Therapy. Okay. So this might be the turn. Something's happening. Trick Bind. Fascinating. That's a fucked up card to have against my Teferi's Protection deck, let me tell you. My Lethal Vapors. All right. I'll pass. And the Therapy is really nice to find. When it's got a lot of flow state, a lot of secret tech over there. Forbidden technology in their deck. Hey, that fetch land doesn't work. Oh, that's so good. All right, Cabal Therapy. Point one of these at you. I can name Force of Will and Force of Negation if I need to. Brainstorm in response. I like seeing that now rather than after the first therapy. Force of Negation, pitching Spell Pierce. Okay. I'm going to Cabal Therapy again now. I'll name Force of Will on this one. And hope we hit, or hope there's just nothing over there. Wear Tear and Swords to Plowshares. Okay. We did it, team. Here we go. Hold priority. Activate Vapors. 3, 5. I'm not going to count to 100. And 100 doesn't have to be the number. Okay, I think I've put 100 on the stack. All right, always yield to lethal vapors. Here we go. And I'm out of here. See you later. All right, your turn. For a very long time, it'll be your turn. You can play as much of this as you want. My finger is on the 6 key, and it's not going anywhere else. F6 forever. And they realized what's happening. Let's go. Okay, so they had that wear tear for a while. Good to know. And Trick Bind messed up. Opponent's got all manner of secret technology over there. Now, the problem with my main deck is it's already kind of a creature strategy, especially now that they've seen Voice of Victory, so bringing in Barrelgoyf as a juke isn't even a very good juke. Disruptor Flute could name Force of Will. That could be kind of a pseudo defense grid. All right, and I'll cut a Carpet of Flowers as well. They're not denying me mana, so I don't actually need that card. Okay. Game 3, though I have technically already won 2 games. Thanks, Magic Online. Keep. I got the goods. Island. Multiple Explorers. I don't think that means I want to send one aggressively. I think that means I want to dance around the ones I do have. They could Trick Bind this fetch land, but I have so many triggered abilities in my deck that that's okay. Grafdigger's Cage. Does that do anything? I can't flashback Cabal Therapy. Mortuary. I don't need more mana. I'm about to have a lot of it. Teferi's Protection. Fun. All right. Red Earner Explorer. Cast this. Phyrexian Tower. I can sacrifice that at will now. Just got to decide when the time to do it is. I think the answer is not now. As we've seen Fourth Aerolingus in their deck, which is not something I really want to play against or ramp them into right away. But I do have all the pieces here. Okay, end of turn. Sack Veteran Explorer. I would like to use the ability. Forest and Plains. And I'll cast Disruptor Flute. I'll name Force of Will. Oh, what is going on here? 3 mana in the pool. Okay. Now it makes sense. Force of Negation. There it is. I'll bite on that one. Here I can, air quotes, tap out and then play Lazotep Quarry from hand. Nice. And I'll sack this to add green. And I think I want to just go to the Convergence. They have to have exactly enchantment disruption here, and they didn't wear or tear me right away. And they're dead. The rarely seen 3-1 victory. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I checked in the Magic Online support chat and can confirm that some games are resetting right now. That wasn't just me, it is platform-wide. However, when I'm responsible for daily content, it's really hard for me to just not play today and wait for them to figure it out. I'm making the executive decision to push forward, and if this match is horrific, I will wait for the next one until the thing is fixed. If we keep getting through, I will keep rolling the dice. Mox Diamond, discarding a Yavimaya, a Wasteland, a Rumble, found a Life from the Loam, and Exploration. Wow, all right, yeah, this is just the nuts from lands. Luckily for me, oh wow, that's so annoying. Oh, I have Savannah that could get green back online. Like, I could Thoughtseize the Exploration right now, which would make my life a lot easier. Or I can just, all right, yeah, I think I have to just play Veteran Explorer off of a forest and try to get to Pernicious Deed, which can also clear Exploration. I can erode my Veteran Explorer and do all my stuff here. Opponent did not Dredge Loam, has Exploration, which we knew about. But Seiju, I'm glad that's in play and not anywhere else. Ghost Quarter's an interesting game piece here. Do I have 7 or 8 basics in this list? Where did I land on that? 4, 7. All right, yeah, there's 7 of those. You want to Ghost Quarter me? Just like that? That's nasty. Okay, Plains is in my hand. Do I want Swamp or Forest here? Does it matter? I guess I'll just keep grabbing Forests. A second Life from the Loam. Okay, so that's what you're doing over there. That won't last forever, but it will last a while. Ooh, Voice of Victory. Do I like that? I have to blow up one of my explorers this turn. And I do only play one basic Plains. How do I navigate all the things I need to navigate here? Playing the Savannah out, it just gets wastelanded. Okay. Another explorer. Do I Thoughtseize my opponent? There's one unknown in the hand, and I know the other 2 cards are lands. Okay, erode the tapped explorer. Yes, I'll use the ability. Forest enters tapped from erode, and then the ability happens. Swamp, forest. Maybe that should have been swamp, swamp. No, I don't care about Ghost Quarter. All right, Thoughtseize. Once upon a time. I'm happy to get anything there, literally anything. And I've got Pernicious Deed now. Opponent Dredged Loam came up with Dark Depths on that one. Ghost Quarter. Please be worried about my swamp more than my plains. Bummer. Okay. Swamp's in. And I'm already out. That's embarrassing. I'm impressed they're still doing this. And it's about to start working, but you've seen 7 basic lands and you're still like, fuck yeah, brother. Ghost Quarter. You did it. You ran me out. Okay. My plan for this turn then must be... Ooh, the Vapors. Okay, I can deed for 1. So I have to take out the Exploration, or else I'm not really going anywhere. I'm not really going anywhere anyway. Pernicious Deed. I'm going to stop in my opponent's draw step. Okay, they've committed to the Loam, and now I'm going to blow everything up. Scary stuff. I didn't expect to be successfully mana denied with this deck ever, and well done. We've got Sejiri Step, Ghost Quarter, Tabernacle back to the hand. Ghost Quarter is probably going to take out my swamp here. Do I think I can deal... Oh, okay. Suddenly, a plan emerges. I was about to say, do I think I can deal 18 with just Voice of Victory? But now my Sandworms might converge. They can't play that Tabernacle in their hand anymore. I did not Dredge Loam. I've got 3 land sack outlets in my deck. Depths is in. The Vapors. It's starting to run out of gas here. Dredged over an Urza's Saga. That's actually a good card. Graveyard Hate does stop Academy Rector, by the way. It does not stop Veteran Explorer. Veteran Explorer is a death trigger, and Academy Rector is a when it dies, you may exile it. There's 2 different things being asked. All right, still on the GQ plan. And I'm Vapor Flooded. And if they blow up all my lands, Tabernacle will also beat Sandworm Convergence. And there's a Boseiju. Okay, now my deck doesn't work. I didn't expect it to go like this, but I'm impressed that it did. Now, Magic Online, if you want to reset the game, that would be great. Just saying. When it's discarding to hand size. Ooh, the Lazatep Quarry. You don't say. That is the good one that I was waiting for. Attack with Rector. Oh, I could right now. Yeah, okay. I'm going to sack this to add white. And I'm going to get the Overwhelming Splendor. Opponent can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. That is Boseiju. That is Thespian Stage. That is Wasteland. That is Ghost Quarter. We're so back. That is Urza's Saga. Can their deck beat this card? Now I'm curious. They just said in the chat, wait, what? Wait, that stops Boseiju? Yes. You can't activate abilities. Okay. Now. Yeah, it's soloed, baby. Okay. None of that is how I thought that game was going to go. All right, so I want some Macabres. I do like the Graveyard Hate. Disruptor Flute is also potentially useful here. Erode is a way to bonk my own guys. And Voice of Victory and Crop Rotation is an out to a Rector trigger. Do I want Barrogoyf in here? Opponent said they're excited to see a Nickfit video. Hell yeah. Me too. Assassin's Trophy, also somewhat useful. Okay, so I have like 8 quasi-useful cards. Lands is not one of the decks that can... Okay, so I'm trying to think. So if they have like multiple Endurance and a Tabernacle to kill off their own Endurance and then draw and hardcast another one, like I'm trying to think of ways they can infinitely recur their deck. They do have them. Maybe it's less macabre than this. Maybe it's not Barrogoyf. Okay, it's not Barrogoyf. I do like Lively Dirge. This one doesn't pass priority. It immediately dumps the Rector and puts it into play all at once. It might be okay to cut a Cavern of Souls. And cutting a land versus the deck where I was about to be run out of lands is slightly concerning, but it was because I specifically had the Erode my own guy after drawing 2 basics into the one of Ghost Quarter. That's a pretty specific confluence of events. Okay, I will try this. Boo, boo. With 1 forest, this hand is actually just the nuts. I probably could have cut some discard. That would have been a better idea. All right, I'll mulligan this. Keep this. But on one of the protections, you don't need 2 of those in a game, usually. Once Upon a Time. Found Saga. Played Boseiju. And Exploration. And Saga. Yep, good hands, good hands. I will get a basic forest and summon this Veteran Explorer. Another Saga. It's a lot of that. There's not a lot that mono green can do about a Veteran Explorer. Like, you just have to, I think, take your medicine, give me the lands, and attack with your Saga guys. Dark Depths, yeah. I mean, killing me over top also works. I like that Verdant Catacombs, and I'm actually going to pass because having up Assassin's Trophy might save my life here. Construct. I'll fetch for a swamp before Pithing Needle could show up here. I don't know if that's what they would get versus Expedition Map to find Thespian Stage to kill me, but I can play around it, so I will. Expedition Map. A surprise. Opponent appears to have 1 forest in their deck. The map's being activated, Thespian Stage found, and the mana to use it all. Construct is a straight-up trade there. Not advisable. Thoughtseize. You want to seize some thoughts here? I guess. Alright. What do you got? Exploration Skateboard, Boseiju. I guess it's skateboard. No attacks, pass the turn. All right, cool. They're just going for Dark Depths. That's the best outcome for me. I have to get a black source here, and might as well get white while I'm in there. Scrubland, Assassin's Trophy, and now I have to survive these Urza Sagas as they run their course. And I can break up Life from the Loam, but unfortunately the first loam presents a fresh 2020, so that's already bad news. Just gonna hope they don't draw Life from the Loam. Construct's coming. If there's something like Soul Guide Lantern that they could tutor with this saga that does make my my Rector worse. Got Mox Diamond and Dump a Seiju though. That feels like someone who drew Life from the Loam. Okay. Thank goodness. It was just once upon a time. And they're at the point of the game where all they can do is smash. So I expect an attack here and I will block. And what I really want to do is draw a Vapors or a Rector to find Vapors so I can combo off. Got lots of mana. Thespian Stage found there just in time to copy Urza's Saga before it dies. Frustrating. Okay. Still not trying to push through my explorers. Mortuary Rector. Yes, please. Keep that on top. I don't have a sack outlet for it, but if my opponent is trying to attack me with 6/6s on the ground, it will eventually become an issue. Okay, copied the Saga. This is a trick that I miss a lot when I play lands, because I don't play it a lot. If you copy in your draw step, you will have seen the card you drew already, and this would trigger and already be on chapter 1 in your main phase. There's like a lot of people don't stop in their draw step, especially on Magic Online, which is the right time to make that decision. Okay, Pithing Needle. If this name's Lethal Vapors, I'm going to be really impressed. Lazatep Quarry. Okay. That is a mana ability, so that doesn't actually stop me. Block. So I could take 8, draw the Rector. I could just double block, have a million mana next turn. I'm going to do that. Use the ability Plains Forest. Use the ability Swamp Forest. I am under some real pressure here, but if I draw the thing, I have the mana to do it all. That is not the thing. Do I cast Fairy Macabre to block? Are we there? Opponent can attack for 8 next turn. I don't think I'm ready to cast Fairy Macabre to block. I do have Teferi's Protection, which can function as Teferi's Protection if I needed to. 8 damage. I am dead next turn. Wasteland mostly doesn't matter. Come on, Vapors! Cavern, sad. Alright, does playing Fairy Macabre save me? My opponent will be attacking me with 2 5/5s, so yes. Okay, Fairy Macabre. And I'm going to Cavern on Human. And pass the turn. We've still got 1 draw step to rule them all. Caracas. Macabre, not a legend. Block. Go to 3. Draw Lethal Vapors. Become a legend. Sad. Alright, is there anything I can actually do here? Witherbloom Command is a draw 2, or Witherbloom Charm is a draw 2. The problem is, if I show them Teferi's Protection, they might know what's going on. But I guess I will play to my out of Witherbloom Charm. Or Pernicious Deed also gets me completely out of this. Not anymore, because that is a forest. Pernicious Deed buys me time. Zoop. My opponent mentioned excited to see the video. So they know what I do, but are they an OG? I think the last time I played this deck was like 2021. So I may have just blown it, or I may have gone all the way out. Oh, no sack outlet ready. Yeah, that showed up 1 turn too late. Game 3. Teferi's Protection revealed. And the Barragoyfs don't even seem bad. But comboing seems better. Yeah, I'm not going to make any changes here. Let's go. I will keep this. It sucks I don't have access to basic Swamp right away. But I think Cabal Therapy on Exploration is good enough. Alright, I was supposed to board out some of the discard. Like, I probably should have just cut the 2 Thoughtseize for the 2 Barragoyf. I said it and then forgot all about it. Cabal Therapy names Exploration. Didn't have one. 2 Crop Rotations, though. Bad bet. Crop Rotation is the only other card you'd ever name in this matchup, but Exploration is so much scarier from the specific position I'm in. Opponent's hand is pretty mid, though. Oh, that's annoying. I want to use that, but I also kind of want to Disruptor Flute on Malevolent Rumble. The Flute on Loam is probably better going along. All right, I'll play the Mortuary. Thoughtseize. I don't care about that anymore. I've got the protection. I'm looking for Vapors. That's the game I'm trying to play. Yavimaya. Wow, didn't play a card. All right, well, there's Vapors. Now I have to just make this happen. Are we going to see, like, end step crop rotate for Ursa Saga? What are we doing here? What's the plan? I thought for sure Rumble was going to happen. Nothing. Oh my god, I'm so confused. Did they draw a second Beseiju? All right, I guess I'll draw for my turn. And I'll cast Lethal Vapors. They might just skip a turn to kill this. I think that's totally reasonable here. I hope they don't realize what's going on, and I can just cook. They pass the turn. By the way, I think that's the correct way to play against this deck, is just kill the Vapors when it shows up. Crop rotation in the end step. Oh, I'm just gonna get fucking Merit Laged. Right, this was face up. Yeah, the Yavimaya. I lost count. I have the Assassin's Trophy. I'm a big dumbass. Yep. Dang it. All right. I had all that information and didn't adjust to them drawing a land. I have it here and should have just been patient. GG's. On to the next round. I'm excited to be a special guest for the Excalibur Events Niagara Falls weekend, September 25th through 27th, 2026. This event features the pre-modern scaling 25K with $10,000 guaranteed and $5,000 added to the prize pool at 275, 350, and 450 players for a total of $25,000. Gold Border and Collector's Edition cards are legal in this tournament, and you can use up to 10 playtest cards to fill out your deck. Be sure to check the FAQ on the Excalibur website to follow their playtest card policy. This has a chance of being the biggest pre-modern event ever. Sign up now and use code BOSH for $5 off entry. I hope I'll see you there. I am on the play in round 3. I'm going to keep. This hand does require Veteran Explorer to stick around. And I could lead on Phyrexian Tower. And that plays around white removal. Alright, I'm going to go Phyrexian Tower pass. Wasteland, sure. I was prepared for that possibility with my second copy of this legendary land. Alright, Cavern on Human. I'm going to hope that this Wasteland deck doesn't play white removal. I have enough breadcrumbs now. Wasteland again. That's fine. Another Cavern for Human. Unfortunately, that's not where I'm going right now. I've got 4 mana available. I kind of do it all. Yes, make. I think I need Plains and Swamp here. All right, I've grabbed Plains and Swamp. Let's see what my opponent's got. A single forest. Oh, is this lands again? So I just want to put Rector into play. Okay. 2 wastelands and a forest. Tells a story that I'm interested in hearing. And I've got Erode and Tower available. I could lead on Voice so my opponent can't crop rotate and then sack the Rector and get Splendor, which, as we've learned, solos the lands deck by itself. Ghost Quarter. This goes after my Plains. That's actually pretty tight. But they'd need a second thing. They would need to Ghost Quarter my Plains and then also have Bajuka Bog. Okay, I'll grab Forest here and I can do what I need to do. Cavern on Human. White, green, Voice of Victory. Attack for 1. And then I'll put a Swamp and an Overwhelming Splendor into play. Swamp and Splendor. Pass. Most of their cards don't work anymore. And Merit Lage is a 1/1. Though they can't make Merit Lage either. If they had a normal card like Naturalize or Nature's Claim, I would be extremely cooked, but they don't really do that. They have Beseijus and stuff like that. Cards that are more clever than the baseline. Nice. Okay. This definitely lands. Some redemption from last round. I'll remember to bring in my Barrowglyphs this time. Thoughtseize leaving the deck. Voice of Victory leaving the deck. Erode. I cut a Cavern last round, but why? Where did that go? Because I have 7 cards here. And I know I cut a cavern last round, but there's 8 cards. The Thoughtseizes should cover the Barrowglyphs. Oh, I guess they do, right? So, yeah, it was like this last round, and then plus the Thoughtseizes for Barrowglyphs, sure. The caverns did show up, and they were important in that game, but that is not typical of the lands matchup. Okay, as long as I don't forget how Merit Lage comes into play, should have a plan here. Ooh, I've got Explorer. All right, I'm going to keep this. There's a lot of ways this hand pops off. That's not one of them. Joke's on you, I needed to draw a land anyway for my hand to work. And I did. Ghost Quarter. That shit again. Lethal Vapors. Okay, Swamp and Forest play the Veteran Explorer. That's invested now. Any of my therapies or lands that sack this thing become very good. Bajuka Bog. All right, now I don't have to think about that in the future. Opponents on the mono-colorless Sphere hand. All right. Wrecking their own shit to find their basic land probably means they have Loam in hand, if they're willing to do all that. Rumble. Did not find a Loam. Found more lands and Sphere of Resistance. They took the Sphere. Okay. Sack Outlet right now? Shit. All right. This game might become difficult. All right, pass the turn. Saga, that one's pretty good. Bonus Sphere. One of the sack lands still just gets me right out of this. All right, that's not one of the sack lands, and now I'm a step behind where I wanted to be. Last turn, that would have been good enough. Now, constructs are online. Wasteland, stop it! I cannot play any cards. The good news is the Saga beatdown has to go through Veteran Explorer if it wants to find me. I'm going to discard a Lethal Vapors. I can't imagine ever needing 2 of those. Skateboard does tap my Explorer for this turn. That gets a crush of damage through. They might need some pain-free mana. They go find a Mox Diamond or something. Skateboard confirmed. This gets me for 11. Okay, I'm not dead outright to this. I can block the 6 next turn, go to 2, have mana for a turn. I go to 1, have mana for a turn. Bonus at 8. If they have another artifact, I technically survive the turn, but I don't get to crack this fetch land ever. Okay. Turtling up. Oh my god. Alright, I drew Phyrexian Tower. What does this do? This taps for 4, functionally. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7 mana with 2 spheres in play. Unfortunate, because 7 mana is exactly enough to do all my tricks here. Okay, I will pass the turn. Though, does having Rector in play do more for me than having Veteran Explorer in play? It's got to, right? Yeah, okay. Never mind. Sack this. Trigger. Get Plains and Forest. 3, 4, 5, 6. Academy Rector. Okay, same position I was in last turn. Except now they know I can tower their ass. Crop rotation. So if this gets Urza's Saga, they could make a construct and equip it with Skateboard. Okay, that'll get over. That'll do at 4 life. Brutal. That Eldrazi spawn just sitting there, making a mockery of my life. GG. Cool game. But I don't think anything changes here. I just need to draw my land sooner than that. On the play, this hand doesn't do anything. Mulligan it. Oh no, come on, deck. Not like this. Down to 5. This one will have to do get rid of Cabal Therapy, and Dirge is eventually exactly what I want. I just need to get to 5 mana, and then I get to Rector immediately. Alright, I'm going to Therapy Exploration. Oh my god. Triple Mox Diamond over there. I wish I was allowed to look at my opponent's hand, just totally for free, so I could always Cabal Therapy correctly. Beseiju. Mox Diamond. Discards Depths. Oh, that was a nice draw. Okay, well, that is literally the best card they could ever imagine in their entire smelly, stupid life. That is a, what, turn 2 Merit Lage, or did they have to wait till turn 3? Well, I also drew one of my better cards, so I guess I'll shut up. Okay, Forest, Veteran Explorer, take the crop rotation. Or they can crop rotate in response, because they'll get the lands before this resolves. That is how that works. Plains and swamp, I think. There's your forest. Wow, they didn't crop rotate. Let's go. I'll take it. All right, crop rotation is gone. Mox Diamond in your hand. And pass the turn. Loam found Urza's Saga and Dark Depths. There's that shit. Saga's in. Big draws. Oh my god. All right, well, I was hoping to draw a land to Dirge for that, but I'll just draw it. That's fine. And right now is a big deal. If they don't have crop rotation for Bajuka Bog or don't kill me outright right now, I'm good. And I guess I'm supposed to Witherbloom Charm in my upkeep here to make sure I don't accidentally draw the Splendor. They milled over Ghost Quarter. That one doesn't matter. They can't play 2 lands this turn, even though they have a lot of mana. Okay, I know their hand is Depths Ghost Quarter right now. All right, upkeep, Witherbloom Charm, draw 2 cards. Sack a permanent, draw 2. And the trigger does happen first, so I can't draw the thing. Oh, wait, does it not? Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, it's all part of the same effect. Oh, right, because this is not sacrifice as a cost. It's sacrifice as the effect, which is the whole thing that I've been talking about. Okay, interesting. Expedition mapping while you still can. What do you get? And is it good enough? Yeah, that's actually interesting. The rules. So it is possible to get BTFO'd by your own thing. Okay, Overwhelming Splendor. Splendor you. Your construct is a 1/1. You have Thespian Stage that you can't activate in your hand. And all I need to do here is just put some power and toughness into play. Did not Dredge Loam. Can't Urza Saga. Can't Wasteland, which means my Surveil land is coming. Opponent said they still have mate in 19 with this construct. Yep, Godspeed. I do technically have to put something in front of it. I tutored the last Mox Diamond. Discarded Wasteland. Thespian Stage. And I guess I just dirge up another Rector here. I cast with the full spree. Con Queso. I will get Rector and then also put Rector into play. I've got a 1/2, which wins the game by itself, but then also I'll sacrifice it next turn and have 5/5s forever. Teferi's Protection. Oh my god, should I do it? Should I play with my food? I know the answer is yes. All right, I'm going to play with my food. I'm going to put Veteran Explorer into play first as the blocker. And my opponent can't even activate Lethal Vapors if they wanted to. I'm going to get you stupid style. Oh, wait. If I do the thing... Oh, no. My Overwhelming Splendor does leave the battlefield. And it's possible to lose. Shit. And now Sandworm Convergence also doesn't do anything unless I skip turns. Yeah, that was kind of stupid. Okay. Do I bounce on it crazy style? All right, whatever. I'm here. I'm celebrating my 1000th birthday. We're doing it. Okay, I've activated this many times. If this was Eternal Weekend, this is not how I would play this game. But guess what? It's not. Goodbye. Your turn. Your cards work again. What would you like to do with them? And also, when I phase back in, Overwhelming Splendor comes back with me and shuts their deck off again. I'm not sure if even they could get through these cards if it beats me. There's a long pause. I suspect that they are consulting their deck list to see if they have a solution. And 2 Endurance and a Tabernacle does it. But I think you would board out Tabernacle here. Like, if you don't know what you need to do, like if you don't know this is coming, it's a lot harder to plan for. But like I said, the twisted joke of we just get to my next turn and then I do what I should have done anyway, which is sack Academy Rector and get Sandworm Convergence and their cards don't work again. So I guess they could technically have infinite 1/1 constructs in play at the time that that happens. All right, they said their client is having a seizure. So that could be because it's unclear because I've created a confusing board state that doesn't normally exist, or it could be one of the actual MTGO issues that's happened. So we will see. My opponent should be able to activate their abilities again. And Construct is 5/5, which indicates that, okay, they said their clock is ticking down, but they can't take actions, and even the concede button isn't working. That's the story of Teferi Vacation. I leave, you can't do anything. Okay, they're tapping and untapping a forest. Okay, it's back. We got the GGs. A lock so crushing, you can't even concede. Hell yeah. All right. I'm glad I decided to do the crazy thing, even though it was wrong. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 4. My hand is bad and has worm in it, though it's already a 6. Here we go. I will keep this and bottom one of the protections. And I think this is a situation where I just put Veteran Explorer onto the battlefield. I have no way to protect it or make it better, and my curve to sacrifice it is a 2-drop. Opponent's got a 61 card deck over there. Is it lands again? I feel like lands has been on 61 cards lately. My goodness. Dumping a wasteland. Whelming back the wasteland. Okay. That could have been worse. And I have a pretty fast goldfish here. Swamp and attack. I'm just going to pass. Did not dredge alone. Basic forest. That's unlucky. I would like to sacrifice a permanent to draw 2 cards. And I hope they don't dismember my explorer. But I guess if they do, I just won't draw 2 cards, right? It's that easy. Alright, speaking of that easy, I now have 5 mana Rector and Therapy, and as we've learned, we can beat this deck with a single Splendor. Okay, I'm going to fetch before I play Cabal Therapy. I don't want any unnecessary priority passes. I'm going to Cabal Therapy, Crop Rotation. Crop Rotation. Ice Till, Light from the Loam. Alright, sure. Rector. Flashback Therapy. I would like Overwhelming Splendor on the battlefield and attached to my opponent. And they didn't Saga in response, so they have nothing here. I'll name Ice Till, and that should end the game. I'll at least take the 1/1 they could cast. Okay. Nope. Nope. Untap that Urza Saga. Alright. Now let's see how long they want to play. Tutoring a map that cannot be used. Saga from hand. Might as well loan back these lands, I guess. If you insist on continuing to play my game. I think what I should do here is what I came to do. I don't actually think that's true. I think I should play Rector and sort of nickel and dime them. But I'm going to go nuts here. This does let them know what I'm doing. But I also don't think they can do anything about it. They could Pithing Needle Lethal Vapors next turn if there's a main deck Pithing Needle. And they know creatures can ever come into play. That's my Surveil land. Fairy's Protection. I'll keep that in my hand. Alright, here we go. And they've seen enough. They just see me clicking and clicking. They don't even want to see the Teferi's Protection. Let's go. Okay, our 3rd lands matchup in a row. That's very weird. But at least I know what I'm doing at this point. I still think the Cavern is the correct 8th card to cut. Even though cutting lands versus the Wasteland Ghost Quarter potentially Sphere of Resistance deck is not exactly what I want to be doing. Okay, here we go. Okay, I am going to keep my hand. It's got the combo in it and some disruption for my opponent's stuff. A sack outlet if I need that. It's just going to be, am I able to play spells this game, I guess. Grafdigger's Cage. Why do people think that card is good against me? What do they know that I don't? That's 2 opponents this league who have brought that in. Okay, Mortuary. I don't need another Vapors. Pernicious Deed, great draw though. Wasteland, sad. And Stage. Okay, happy with that one. I'm just going to play Swamp. That one is harder to destroy than other ones. And we'll see if they want to copy Saga or run the course and try to do other stuff. They're in their main phase. All right, making another construct. It looks like damage is what they're trying to do, which is not a bad thing to do in a game of Magic. Skateboard. Yep. Damage being done. Looks like I'm going to have to use a Witherbloom command to kill one of these things just to get to the point where I could Pernicious Deed. Talent Gates. Please phase out one of your creatures. Please phase out one of your creatures. Okay, they didn't phase out one of their creatures. Oh, there's more? Bathing Needle, my god. Don't name Pernicious Deed. Named Lethal Vapors. Okay. So if Lethal Vapors comes into play, creatures are dead forever. Okay, Windswept Heath, which is a forest. And Witherbloom Charm can gain 5 life or kill a construct. And killing a construct gains 7 life. So it's better to do that. Do I play around Wasteland by fetching a forest? I think I do. I fetch a basic forest. Maybe I was supposed to get plains. As long as it's basic, it's fine. Destroy a target, non-land permanent mana value 2 or less. All right, I will destroy the larger construct, which will also shrink the other construct. And I am unfortunately 1 mana short of wiping this whole board. Bummer. Oh, if I had fetched plains... Oh, well, or I'll just draw plains. That's cool too. Okay, so I can Teferi Protect to stay alive to get everything with Pernicious Deed next turn. I think that's a better line. Since I can't Vapors anyway, I'll use Teferi as Richard Garfield intended. Okay, protect myself. Zoop. Much like the Zelfiran landscape, I am not available for you to destroy. Oh, wow. I keep getting teased by better and better options. Like, if I just block with this, that's also insane. All right, I'll Cavern on Human. I'm going to go with the Pernicious Deed. Deed for 1, doing a lot here, and then Lazadep Quarry plus Explorer can do some more stuff. Getting the Deed up to 1 also clears my Pithing Needle issue, and technically Grafdigger's Cage, though I'm not worried about that, actually. Opponent does have 3 cards in hand. What could they be? Mox Diamond. Disappointing to see that after. Ball Therapy. I'm going to save that. There's nothing I care about that doing right now. Okay, Cavern on Human. I'm going to sacrifice this human for a black. My opponent can get a forest. I can get a forest and a swamp. Oh, 2 forests. Okay, I think what I want to do here is just play out the Vapors. And what they should do is skip a turn immediately. But if they don't want to do that, I can play a game with Vapors in play. I've seen Ice Explorer in their deck. Opusage from hand, sure. That's fine too. I'll grab a Scrubland, because that also taps for green. Alright, I'm looking for a Rector. Opponent started tapping mana, then didn't. I wonder what that means. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna Cabal Therapy, naming crop rotation. Exploration, okay. Well, here is Academy Rector. And I could use the therapy, take the exploration. I don't think this matters. All right, Overwhelming Splendor is in. Exploration. Gone. Okay. I feel good. I think it's reasonable to play this Very Macabre as a beater. And if I had planned ahead, I would have been able to do it this turn. Okay, here we go. I have an attacker. I can also bring back Veteran Explorer as a 4/4 if I want to do that. Okay, there's a Dark Depths that Thespian Stage doesn't activate for. Do I use Last Step Quarry to make a 4/4? I think I do. 4/4 Veteran Explorer. The beats continue. Opponent needs a disenchant to win this game. Like an actual one, not Beseiju. And I'm not leaving back Very Macabre. I'm not respecting that shit. Dark Depths just tap for green. Looks like they're trying to remove an ice counter. You can't remove ice counters. You can't Thespian Stage. It didn't do anything that turn. The Vapors. I will attack with my creatures. Down to 12. Play out Verdant Catacombs. And I'm going to hold the Vapors. I think it can only hurt me right now. And if I draw the Teferi button, I have a way out of the game. A backup plan in case my beats get answered. All right, more Vapors. Those Vapors are so lethal, but so are my attackers. Yeah, Lethal Vapors doesn't stop Dark Depths because it does destroy the creature. Like, if this handled Merit Lage, I would play it out so it could cover me in case my opponent draws an actual removal spell. Ooh, Force of Vigor. Yeah, that one would qualify, but you can't take that here. Okay, Expedition map. Taken. Another Dark Depths played from hand. This is a 1-1. Okay. We got the GGs. What we've learned over the last 3 matches that Overwhelming Splendor is good against lands. To the final round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables.
I'm on the draw in the final round. Positive record locked. Playing for the bread and butter 4-1. I like my hand. I'm nervous if my opponent is a Wasteland deck, because Windswept Heath doesn't do everything I want to here. I'd really like black on 1, green on 2, and if I have to fetch Bayou, that opens up a weakness. Windswept Heath. I feel like Windswept Heath decks usually have Wasteland in them, unless it's the mirror match. If they went on my Mox field and copied me. Okay, Ignoble Hierarch. This is probably going to be a Wasteland deck. How do I mitigate that? I could just Thoughtseize my opponent right now, but I need Cabal Therapy. Yeah, rolling the dice against Wasteland here actually sucks a lot, but I think it is necessary to do. I don't think just playing Veteran Explorer and not playing any other cards this game is going to do anything for me. Cabal Therapy, and I think I want to name Badger Mole Cub. I can't name Wasteland, that's illegal. I did get a Badger Mole Cub, but there's also a Wasteland over there. Nice Once Upon a Time. What are we saving that for? That's weird. Weird card to see in your opening hand. Not used. Unfortunately, the Wasteland is going to punish me. But any forest I draw, we're in business. And if they choose to Zenith for 2 this turn, that would be great. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So this can get White of the Rel or Badger Mole Cub, and looks pretty good on the surface. However, I know that getting Wasteland would have cooked me here. Okay, Cub's in. And that was the only window where I care about that. Nice. Okay, draw for turn. Cavern of Souls. Okay, Cavern on human. That is the thing this names. Veteran Explorer. Should I Thoughtseize first? If I Thoughtseize first, they won't be able to Once Upon a Time, even if there are 2 forests in the deck. Okay, Thoughtseize first. Oh, we've drawn a card. Where did this come from? Hold on. Is Moto bugging again? What just happened? Did I lose track of a draw step, or is that not actually in there? Oh, I guess they drew for turn. They must have drawn a second copy of Green Sun Zenith. All right, yeah, all right. I can stop being crazy now. Greater Hoof Behemoth. 2 for 5 mana. That card happens sooner than you think it does. If they draw Cradle, they have Hoof here. Okay, I'm going to take Zenith, and then I'll Flashback Therapy, and we'll see how many basics they play, I guess, is part of the calculation here. I'd really like a Plains, but I have many options with Forest Swamp here. Okay, 1 forest still in the deck. Do I want to take this Crater Hoof? Or do I want to take the Once Upon a Time? I think I'm taking the Crater Hoof. Okay, your hand is Once Upon a Time, and I can also just kill Badger Mole Cub right now. That takes 2 mana off the board, 2 mana and 2 damage. They drew a land for turn. Once Upon a Time. Found Hierarch. Pretty underwhelming. It is an attack for 2, though, and they can Wasteland me if they want. Hierarch. And Wasteland blows up my Cavern. The Wasteland comes back. I was hoping I would get to untap with Witherbloom before they did that, so I'd at least draw 2 cards when my land died. But I understand the desire to make me stop doing stuff. Oh, that was a good Wasteland. Okay, I am passing the turn. And if they waste the Bayou, I'll sack it to draw 2. Black, green. You may sacrifice a permanent if you do draw 2 cards. Found the mana, and it's white. Moving in the right direction here, I hope. Another wasteland, sure. All right, I have Rector next turn, and I can erode it on the following turn if my opponent doesn't cooperate in killing it. The third Hierarch, the real beats. I don't think I should be trophying here. That's not what my life total's for, and they only searched for 1 forest when they had the opportunity. So I think this Assassin's Trophy is just full Vindicate. Basic Plains, and Savannah is less important than Scrubland. I have double black cards I might need to cast still. Okay, Rector's in play. Don't do anything super messed up right now. Like Natural Order would be a draw I'm not interested in you having. End step Wasteland. It'd be a shame if I had that tapped Savannah during your main phase. Oh no. Why are you tapping all this mana? Grist. Okay. I can handle Grist. Making a bug. All right. Options now include. So they would have 4 1/1s in play versus Overwhelming Splendor. And Grist loyalty abilities still work. That's the one thing Splendor doesn't hit. Oh wait, do I just have the win here? I think I do. I erode Rector, get... Oh, this deck might have a bunch of endurances in it. Okay, I can do all this at instant speed. I'll just pass. Yeah, I can erode Rector, get the thing, activate it a bunch of times, then protect myself. Grist made a bug, milled Gaia's Cradle. If they have a bunch of main deck endurances, my combo might not actually beat them. Do I want to end step Splendor? Does that matter? The problem with Splendor is I need another thing before that actually helps me. All right, I'll just keep playing Draw Go, because this could improve for me, but I kind of like my situation. And it couldn't, like, worst case scenario is my opponent does something and I have to go off in response. The best case scenario, I draw a good card. White of the Reliquary. Maybe I'm supposed to erode for Lethal Vapors in response to that. Because now that White of the Reliquary is up, I do have to make a decision here. Because that represents Bajuka Bog. Alright, end step, erode my Rector. I would like to use the land tutor ability. I'll get a swamp. I would like to use this ability as well. I could just get Pernicious Deed and wipe, but yeah, let's combo off. And I can draw for turn now. Like, I can do my combo anytime. Another Vapors. That doesn't help. Alright, I'm going to start taking game actions. My opponent said in chat, how does this work? Sorry, busy clicking, I cannot type. I will reveal the second half of the combo momentarily, I promise. And against the possibility of endurance, I'm going to click a lot more than I normally would. Like, normally I go the size of their deck plus a few extra, but like this combo is... Like, if this was paper, I would have comboed in their end step because it's the active player who has to do something different first. Like, if I say activate Lethal Vapors 1,000 times, and they say in response, I'll activate Lethal Vapors 1,000 times, we can do that all day. But if a loop is demonstrated, like a loop that cancels itself out is demonstrated, the active player has to make a different decision first. But on Magic Online, the chess clock means that's the limitation. And then also, like, demonstrating a loop. If my opponent said, like, I have 4 endurances and 2 abrupt decays in my deck, like that's good enough. In paper, that would probably work. But on MTGO, you have to execute that, and you have 20 minutes to do it. All right. I have pass priority on these. Okay. It resolved. My opponent didn't respond to Lethal Vapors dying, so now they can't. All right, cool. We got the... They just believed me that it was good enough. And I am remembering last time I played this 3 or 4 years ago, whatever it was, that endurance didn't exist the first time I played this deck or the second time. But the more things that decks can do that naturally just interact with what you're trying to do, the worse it is. And if a deck has 2 endurances and a removal spell, is that enough? Like, 2 endurances and a shoot the sheriff. I play endurance, I tuck my deck. I shoot the sheriff on that endurance. Endurance and shoot the sheriff are now in the graveyard. I draw a second endurance, tuck, shoot, and endurance in. And then as long as yes, I can shoot. So you just need 2 endurances and a removal spell, which also breaks the loop. It doesn't take much. We've managed to dodge Thassa's Oracle and Emrakul this league, but we've played against 4 possible endurance decks. Okay, I want Assassin's Trophy here. Disruptor Flute is not bad either. I'm not trying to Barrogoyf. Voice of Victory, I think, doesn't matter a lot. Erode doubles as a combo enabler and a problem for my opponent. Like, the Barrogoyf does give me range to get the Overwhelming Splendor, because as we saw that game, if my opponent's creatures have no abilities and they're 1/1s, but I'm at 8 and they have 6 of them, that doesn't actually win the game. Thoughtseize might not be entirely necessary. Cabal Therapy being a sack outlet feels necessary to me. That gets me the flutes and a Goyf. Is that enough? And I could do the Cavern of Souls thing again. They're not a counterspell deck. They are a wasteland deck. Just get Goyf in here like that. All right, I will try this. This has a lot of upside if I draw something worth sacrificing. Witherbloom Charm is a removal spell too. I think I am going to keep this hand. And people always ask when I play this deck, like, why doesn't your opponent just skip the same number of turns in response? Or, whatever. A lot of perfectly reasonable questions. And let me tell you, this is pretty much an MTGO only deck because of the chess clock. The rules technically support it. However, as we've talked about, it's pretty easy to break up with cards that decks might just have anyway. However, actually playing those cards in the time of your chess clock, like I'm talking about 2 endurances and a shoot the sheriff, break the loop. But on MTGO, you have to click through each of those turns, play each of those cards, play them many times, and also it's not even always clear how many turns I'm taking. Like, I don't even know. It doesn't say, like, activate this 36 times. I have no fucking idea. Like, I just click and I count in my head and I hope it's enough. So you don't even know if you're close to breaking it up or not. Yeah, Thoughtseize took my only real card in my hand. Wasteland, okay. Do I want them to know about this? Do I want to get wastelanded? And I never want to get wastelanded. But also, if it's that or cast Natural Order. All right, I'll play Forest. My opponent has seen my weakness here. Gaia's Cradle. White of the Rel. That means Bajuka Bog is on moving forward. I'm in the market for a Pernicious Deed right about now. Or let me draw Veteran Explorer this turn, then Deed next turn. How about that? Witherbloom Charm. Hey, there's that guy. Okay, destroy target permanent with mana value 2 or less. Destroy the white. I couldn't play around Wasteland here, but that's worth it. Okay, lots of mana. This is Zenith for 4. What are we doing for 4? Is it a questing piece? An Ice Till Explorer? Ice Till Explorer, let's go. Popular card this league. And maybe they'll just deck themselves with that. That would be great. Milled over Grist. I love seeing her go. Oh. Well, suddenly. Am I willing to play into this face-up wasteland? And what else am I doing? Let's go. Bayou Barrogoyf. Game on. 5/6 Barrogoyf. You've got 1 card in your hand. The Barrow Juke against an opponent without a lot going on. This is what it's for. Another end step wasteland. People hate having when I have tapped lands in play on their main face. It's really weird. Okay, so if my opponent has a Dryad Arbor, which they probably do, that can block Barrogoyf infinitely, but it does mill them every time that it comes back, and I gain 5 life along the way. Like, milling them out while my life total is out of reach is kind of fun. Wow, that was awkward. So they stack the Surveil over the mill, which means if you Surveil, whatever you Surveil gets milled. Like, if you mill first, then you actually get a decision. And ended up milling White of the Reliquary and Green Sun Zenith. 2 good cards. Okay. A 6/7 Barrogoyf. 6/7, 6/7. Here he comes. Do I turn off Wasteland here so I can start doing stuff? Oh, wow. They let it through. Academy Rector to my hand. Damn near killed her. In that case, yes, the answer is I do have to turn off Wasteland here. Wasteland is needled. Phyrexian Tower is in play. I don't think I'm willing to sacrifice my Barrogoyf to get white mana to play Academy Rector, but I am moving in the right direction here. Okay, Disruptor Flute. You're going to disrupt Academy Rector. Lethal Vapors. Okay. I will not combo out. Ice Till in for 4. Still playing lands. Milled over Ignoble Hierarch. I'm hoping to see Craterhoof Behemoth hit the graveyard. Like, let's have the payoffs disappear. How about that? Fetched Bayou. Milled Windswept Heath. It's kind of a sweet game. Fetch. Milled Natural Order. Let's go. Those are the type of things I want to see disappear. Collector Oof. Okay. Disruptor Flute can no longer be activated. Windswept Heath. Okay. That is big. So if Barrogoyf mills over my Sandworm Convergence, that stinks. But if it hits Veteran Explorer without hitting Sandworm Convergence, I like it. Okay, just interested in chump blocking now. I'll take that. Fetch for basic Plains. Or no, Plains is in the graveyard. Oh, good. I do have a white source left. I almost freaked out. Okay. Rector is on the battlefield, which means my opponent attacking is now a dubious proposition. Unless it's for lethal. Okay, no attack. Let's go. Playing a land from the graveyard, milled Bayou. Played Bayou from the graveyard, milled Badger Mole. I think it's time to start cranking out 5/5s. We are in the awkward position where Lethal Vapors... So, can I lose this game if every creature that comes into play dies? Like, I could just cast Lethal Vapors, and it's Barrogoyf versus their board. That actually sounds sick. Like, I can tutor up the Sandworm Convergence, but all my worms will die, too. All my worms gone. Okay. I'm going to attack with Barrogoyf and see what my opponent does. Okay. I will deal combat damage and put this trigger on the stack. And in response to that, sacrifice Academy Rector. Use the ability Sandworm Convergence versus Pernicious Deed. I think Deed... Well, Deed kills everything. All right. I'll get Sandworm Convergence. And then Barrogoyf trigger happens. I could still lose to Hoof here, but I am building out my battlefield. I would like to mill 6 cards. Veteran Explorer to my hand. Veteran Explorer, Lazatep Quarry. I think if they had any card that mattered, they would have played it. I would like to cast Overwhelming Splendor next turn. I think that's how I play this game. Okay. I get a worm. Bass. Don't hoof me, bro. Instep Fetch. Are there still fetchables in the deck? There's some basics we haven't seen. Wow, there was a Dryad Arbor this whole time? Okay. Zenith milled over. That was a lethal card. Fetch. Down to 1. Going all the way in here, as they must. All right, big draws. Gotta fade the hoof or anything that goes to get it. Windswept Heath from the graveyard, milled Wooded Foothills. We got the GGs. Wow, that was a tight one. That was a lot of turns to draw a lethal spell. And look at that. That's a 4-1 result in 2026 with Teferi Vacation, where I just straight up punted to known information in the loss. Embarrassing stuff. However, I think the last time I played this deck, 3 or 4 years ago, I also finished 4-1. Maybe this is secretly broken. Or maybe it only works on Magic Online and only when your opponent doesn't know what's going on. I do genuinely believe that with the way lands decks and Cradle Control are constructed, generally, like I was saying, shoot the Sheriff, but Snuff Out. That's a card in their deck. And if I give you infinite turns, you will have enough mana to cast Endurance, hard cast Snuff Out on it, then cast another Endurance and loop them. And that's not what happened in all of the games. Like I did the Rector for Splendor and Convergence. This package has just steered me right in so many shells on this channel over these last 1,000 videos. This covers a wide berth of things that might go wrong. And learning how messed up Overwhelming Splendor is versus lands, that's really funny. Luckily, none of them ever drew a Force of Vigor, which would have completely flipped everything. But game 1, they're dead. Erode, a huge update. Lazatep Quarry. Yeah, the new cards are great. Voice of Victory. This one is... Like, this card is better than Grand Abolisher, But Grand Abolisher also says your opponent can't activate abilities on your turn, which means you can Lethal Vapors without them Lethal Vaporings back. And that is a way to actually turn off their ability to counter combo you, even if you choose to play this in paper where the rules are slightly different. Overwhelming Splendor does the same thing, but if you've already popped one Rector to clear the way for the Lethal Vapors, that feels like win more a little bit. My super early builds of this deck had a City of Solitude in it, which is it's an enchantment for a Rector that's also a Voice of Victory and also opponent can't activate abilities. But I think that card just stinks. I don't know. I'm gonna leave this one here. Thank you all for supporting these many years of content at this point. You've allowed me, you clicking and watching and subscribing to the Patreon and submitting decks like this one and signing up for Magic coaching. All of these things have allowed this to become my full-time job. And it's still going strong. 1,000 legacy videos in the books. David, thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this my 1,000th video. Everyone else, thank you so much for watching and for your support. Hope you had fun. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.